And we're back. So sorry it's been a while since I've updated. I've been kind of busy, not really that busy, just typical day-to-day stuff. But so the reason I felt like updating this is because I have some free time before dinner, and I just wanted to check in with everybody. So the one topic I'm going to talk about today is undergraduate stuff. I don't know, just stuff, what you should do or whatever, because my parents asked me about it a couple weeks ago because one of their friends' daughters is thinking about applying. And somebody actually messaged me on here asking me, asking me a laundry list of questions about, what to do in undergrad, how to make sure, you're a good candidate and stuff like that. So I figured that, if two people want to know, might as well let the world know. And by then, 10 of my subscribers. I don't even think I have 10, but whatever. So the first thing that a lot of people worry about, in their freshman, sophomore year, is what should I major in? Do I major in biology because that's what everyone else is doing, it's what all my friends are doing? Or can I kind of pick a major I want and then still apply to medical school? And from what I've noticed and from what I went through, it's more beneficial, we'll say beneficial, we're not saying, to major in a science-oriented field. Because medical school has a laundry list of requirements, of courses they want to see before you apply. And most times, science major is going to cover 3/4 of those just by taking required classes. So you don't have to take, your required major classes and then your med school requirements and kind of overload your schedule a little bit. But, that being said, I do know plenty of people who went to undergrad and were like history majors, economic majors, whatever the situation may be, still ended up applying to medical school, still got in, still doing fantastic, doesn't really matter. It's just a matter of do what you want to do. Just make sure that, you're going to pick something you're going to do well in, because again, when it all comes down to it, you need a solid GPA, you need a solid MCAT score, and that's the first thing they're going to look at. But and also depending kind of where you're at, for me in undergrad, I was a biochemistry major, and my major was literally 1 or 2 courses away from all of the requirements that I saw that medical schools wanted to see. So it was just really, easy. I didn't worry about, am I getting everything met for my application versus, am I getting everything met for my major? It was more or less just a matter of, I need this class during this semester. You meet with your advisor, meet with your pre-health advisor, and they will help you through it. Both of mine were extremely helpful in the situation, and I mean, it worked. So good for me. But I also knew, a couple of my friends who are in medical school now. One was he was an English major. He wanted to go into writing, but then he changed his mind like junior year and just took all the classes, got into a very solid school, and is doing great. And one of the kids in my class now was an economics major back in undergrad, but took about 6 years off between undergrad and medical school. And so he has an extensive travel background. So during their interview, they're less focused on what was your undergraduate major and what have you been doing for the past 6 years? And, this is pretty sweet. Tell me more about it. Tell me more about you as a person. When you get to that point, again, on top of a solid GPA and a solid MCAT score. So going along those lines, does it matter where you go to undergrad? No. I don't feel, one school has a beneficial over the other because they're all the same course. It's all the same information. It's just a matter of what works best for you, location-wise, financially, personality-wise. I personally went to I know that the big university system thing wasn't a good idea for me in undergrad because I wasn't ready for it. So I chose a very private liberal arts school. And, notoriously, yes, it's a pretty good school. When you tell people in my region that, I went to school B, everyone's like, wow, that's a really good school. You should be proud of yourself. When, yes, okay, great. I feel good. I went to a good school. But I don't feel any more prepared for medical school than, any of the other kids in my class, whether they went to private liberal arts schools, whether they went to, like, the University of or state schools or whatever. It's really all a matter of, are you capable of doing it? So, not necessarily an undergraduate, it doesn't matter what school you went to, nor what major did you have. It's, how you did. Were you able to get your classes done? Did you like your undergraduate experience? My background has changed. Were you able to, get your stuff done and make yourself the most applicable candidate as you were? And again, if you take some time off, if you decide to, between undergrad and medical school, they don't really care where you went. They want to see what you've done in the past couple of years and why you didn't go directly onward, which is becoming more popular now. But I can't comment on that because I didn't do it. What else to do to make yourself a good candidate? Pretty much say, you want to do clubs. You want to make sure you're no, that's secondary. The first thing you want to do is make sure you get in the clinic, because they want to see that you've been in a hospital. They want to see you've worked with a doctor and you can handle being around patients and you can handle, working with an office staff very limitedly. Get into an office for a week or two, get, shadow for a month or something over the summer if you know a doctor. Because a lot of the time, in undergrad and high school or whatever, you're not going to have hospitals and doctors' offices willing to pay you. So you're going to have to kind of suck it up here and there to just, stand in the background and watch. Which, it's not super fun. But, at the same time, schools want to see that you've done it. And so they can say, well, because I worked in this hospital or because I shadowed this doctor, I'm 100% certain that I want to be a doctor. And, this is why it was beneficial. This is why, A, B, C, D, E. And have your defense written for that. But get into the clinic, and if you're going to shadow a doctor or two, make sure you do a solid thing and talk about letter of recommendation from them. On a side note, kind of a lot of the osteopathic schools they say, we would like to see that you have a letter of recommendation from a DO, but it's not required. They're lying. It is required. If you don't have that letter, they're not going to, they're just going to, I don't know. But, it's just basically, it's an unwritten rule that, they can't make you have a letter of rec from a DO, but they highly require it, is their way of saying you better have one. You better have gotten with a DO, you better have seen something and have an idea of what, that specific division of medicine is all about. For me, I shadowed a family practice DO, and I also shadowed an orthopedic MD surgeon for a while, and I got a letter of recommendation from both, and I got one from my advisor, and then the pre-health committee writes you a letter, and schools want to see all that. So make sure you shadow, make sure you get in with a physician, and make sure they write you a letter of recommendation, because schools want to see that. And they want to make sure you're functional and you're easy to get along with, and doctors think that you can handle the field. And then the last thing would be the clubs that I kind of touched on earlier. Make sure you do things that aren't school-related. Join a club, join an activity, join a play, join a band, join a fraternity, join a sorority, join a whatever. And make sure you have a nice balance of areas of interest. Don't say, okay, well, I can be in class and then I can join the biology club, I can join the chemistry honor society, and then, I'll join the pre-health club and I'll do all their free clinic stuff. It's all the same. They want to see what else, like on a Friday night, you can't be in the hospital, you can't study medicine. What are you going to do? Where do your other interests come into play? And that's what they want to see. So do a diverse range of clubs and make sure that you have leadership roles in them. It speaks more saying, I was a member of about, 2 or 3 clubs, but I was on the committee, I was on the board for all of them, as whether president, treasury, secretary, or whatever, than it is to say, I was in 12 clubs, but, I was just kind of a member and I just went to all the events. They want to see that you're able to step it up and be a leader, because notoriously being a doctor is a leadership role and a leadership opportunity that you should be able to handle. So that's pretty much it in summary. Major doesn't matter, undergraduate school, name dropping doesn't really matter, but make sure you get a solid GPA, solid MCAT score, get into the clinic, get a letter of recommendation from the doctor you're working with, join clubs, be a leader, be personable, have a wide variety of interests, and be down to earth, because again, nobody likes a gunner. So, anyway, I have another really fun topic I want to vlog on later, but I will, because it's another one of those dramatic uproars in my class that I hate. But, so, anyway, have a wonderful day. Shoot me a message if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching the 9-minute video. Sorry.